Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Prey. This is another part of our 2022 Halloween special, and Prey is probably the least direct horror out of our list this year, but it is still horror adjacent at least. Though I personally consider the Predator movies to be at least partially horror. Yeah, there's sci-fi elements as well, but you can be both. Sci-fi horror does exist. I mean, look at Alien. Alien is definitely both, and Predator is kind of within that same vibe. So, yeah, Prey is the newest Predator movie, but in terms of continuity and whatnot, in terms of the timeline, it actually takes place earlier. It is a prequel to the rest of the franchise. And from what I gathered, is basically centering around a Native American tribe. I believe the Comanche, I believe it is. I might be wrong about that, and I very much apologize if I am. But it is centering around Native American, specifically a girl, who has to deal with one of the first times a predator has, come to Earth. So this is going to be pretty interesting. This film has received near universal acclaim. It is absolutely beloved already. And it, by some people, has been seen as the best movie in the entire franchise, which is a huge deal. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of the Predator movies. I was always an Alien girl myself. For me, it was always xenomorphs. And, I don't even know what the Predator's actual names are, so that should tell you enough. I know that the aliens are xenomorphs, but I don't know what the Predators are called. But I have seen multiple Predator movies. I don't know if I've seen all of them, but I know I've seen the first one for sure. And I've seen multiple others, I think. I don't know how many there are total. But it's been a long time since I've seen any of them. I did see Alien versus Predator. So that's another one I saw. But again, that's even been a long time since that. Is there a second one? Is Alien vs. Predator Requiem another one? Or was that a game? I don't remember. Clearly, I do not remember. But again, due to the universal acclaim and due to the fact that this movie just sounded interesting on concept, this was definitely something I wanted to check out. So, yeah, I don't know really much of anything else about it other than, Native Americans and Predator. I don't know, where it's going to go from there. I don't know any actors who are in this or whatnot. I don't know if, the same person who's been wearing the Predator suit or whatnot is still wearing the Predator suit in this, and so on and so forth. I don't know how the details are going to go, but I'm very, very interested. I also don't know how much death is going to be in this, how much blood and gore or whatnot. I think it's rated R, but I'm not sure. But I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely interested. And so, yeah, I think this is still very fitting, very good for a Halloween special. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to see what this is like and hope that it lives up to the hype, for me, personally. because obviously it's all subjective, and I tend to have differing opinions sometimes than other people. But hopefully it lives up to the hype. That being said, let's just get this going. When the screen fades black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I looked up a few things in between, and apparently the depiction of the Comanche tribe was pretty accurate, and historically speaking, and culturally speaking, from what I've read, it is very accurate in its portrayal, which is great. I think that's fantastic. I also found out a few other things here. Apparently, Prey, Tabe, Naru's brother, who sacrifices himself near the end and all, he is the how do I put this? Okay, there's a character in the original Predator from 1987 that is his reincarnation. There's in the original Predator, there's a Native American tracker and scout played by Sonny Landham, who is a reincarnation of Tabe. And it says it reframes the character's last stand with that film's Predator as being due to subconscious memories of a past life, referencing Tabe in this film. So that's really interesting. Another interesting fact is the Italian translator for the French trappers was actually first mentioned in Predator 2. The character's name is Raphael Adolini, and he was actually mentioned in Predator 2, which came out in 1990, and was actually later depicted and shown in a comic book called Predator 1718 that came out in 1996. So this is a character who already existed in the Predator franchise, and I think that's really fucking interesting. Also, at the very end there, the celebration that they were having once Naru came back with the Predator's head and everything, they were declaring her as the new war chief. So I didn't fully grasp onto that right away, but I found out through looking looking up information all afterwards. But obviously, I already mentioned that there is some historical accuracy to this. Apparently there were binders of reference material given to the production team to make sure that that was the case. And it was they had to make sure. Apparently Brad Curran of Screen Rant described the Comanche characters' clothing, village, setting, hunting lifestyle, all of that depicted in the film as historically accurate, along with the depiction of the French trappers as hostile towards the Comanche. Curran added that the film makes traditional Comanche gender roles central to its story, writing that in Comanche culture, men took on more physical roles as hunter and warriors, while women served as caregivers who oversaw homes, children, and food preparation. So I was wondering that during the reaction, I know different tribes had different customs in regards to all of that. So apparently within Comanche culture, it was more of that stereotypical view on things, where the men were the more physical roles and the women were the caregivers. So that's pretty interesting. And obviously, as I already mentioned in the pre-thoughts and all, this film did really well. It got universal acclaim. as I always say, Rotten Tomatoes not the best site to use as to determine your tastes in film. You should always make your own viewpoints based on your own viewing experience and everything. But Rotten Tomatoes did give it a 93% based on 269 critic reviews, listing it as positive, with an average rating of 7.7 out of 10. The website's consensus reads, the rare action thriller that spikes adrenaline without skimping on character development. Prey is a Predator sequel done right, although it's a prequel. Metacritic gave the film a weighted average score of 71 out of 100 based on 43 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. It became the highest rated Predator film on both sites. David Fear of Rolling Stone referred to the film as a long-awaited masterpiece and series highlights, and compared Midthunder, the last name of Naru's actress, compared Midthunder's character favorably to Ellen Ripley of the Alien films. Andrew Webster of The Verge admired how patient it is, which I very much agree to. The pacing is done extremely well. Adding, what makes Prey work is its simplicity. It never strays from its concept, instead slowly building up to the tension before reaching a very exciting battle. Bell and Edwards of Mashable called it intimate and character-driven, with more than enough action to satisfy the most die-hard Predator fans. Even if you've never watched a Predator movie, chances are you'll love Prey. It's just that good. In a 3.5 out of 4-star review, Odie Henderson of RogerEbert.com praised Naru's character and the representation of the Comanche Nation, and called the film a scary and fun amusement park ride that also elicits a surprisingly tender emotional response. And so on and so forth. Pretty much everything is just completely positive about this. And apparently, Trachtenberg has stated that there are discussions for future installments, that it is possible that there will be more. And Bennett Taylor expressed interest in reprising his role as Raphael Aldolini as the pirate he is in a potential prequel to Prey, serving as a loose adaptation of the comic book Predator 1718. So that's interesting in and of itself. And also the gun that we saw, the gun that was given to Naru, the engraving reveals that it's the same weapon that a Predator gives to Mike Harrington in 1997 at the end of Predator 2. So that's also pretty interesting in and of itself. But I also wanted to look up real quick. Dan Trachtenberg, the director, writer, who made the film. Because I swear I know that name. Okay, he directed the pilot episode of The Boys. Okay. Well, I might know him from that. He directed an episode of Black Mirror, Playtest. I think I know which one that is. Yeah. Yeah, I know which one that is. Okay. I just like highlighted the thing on Wikipedia and it showed like the picture from it. It's like I instantly recognized which one it was. Apparently he directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I haven't seen. This Prey was only his second film directorial role. 10 Cloverfield Lane is the only other movie he had done before this. And he had only done 3 things in television as well: Black Mirror, The Boys, and The Lost Symbol. As well as a few short films, including one based on Portal. Like, really? Portal No Escape, a short fan film. Okay. I have never heard of that. And I guess he worked on a short film about the Warframe game as well. So he's fairly new. He's a fairly new actor, huh? Maybe I did hear of him, like, in regards to 10 Cloverfield Lane or The Boys premiere. Maybe I've just heard someone mention the name before when talking about this film. But let's now actually get into my thoughts on this film. because we've been talking long enough without actually covering that. Yeah, this was great. Obviously, the acting was top notch. The tension and build up and pacing was phenomenal. The cinematography and direction was fantastic. It was a good amount of thrilling and scary, but also wonderfully action packed. It was gory and bloody, but it never felt like it was just trying to be like bloody and gory for the sake of shock or whatnot. It felt like it was like with purpose. The sound design was great, and for a movie like this where sound is actually kind of important, with the predators clicking and just the fact that it partially hunts by sound and partially by other methods like heat detection. That's very useful. And I feel like I feel like the way it was taken down was also smart because everything was built to. Naru did not have an easy time defeating the predator, defeating it at all. Instead, she had to use things that she learned during the movie. She had to utilize the herb that cools the blood after having learned that this thing sees through heat vision. She had to utilize the bog that she led it into, had to utilize the way it hunts and everything, and trapping it, and just everything worked together perfectly to the point where it's like it felt earned. It felt like, yeah, this girl could definitely have pulled this off because she was smart. She took in her surroundings, she took in the knowledge she was given, and she utilized it to her advantage. She was a hunter. She did what she should be doing as a hunter. She truly lived up to what she wanted to prove to those who didn't believe she could do it. And while a lot of her tribe's warriors did unfortunately get killed by the predator, including her brother, she did get revenge for them. And she was able to stop it, as well as taking out a bunch of the French trappers, ones who weren't taken out by the predator, too. So, yeah. It was just really good on pretty much every level. And as I said in the pre-thoughts, I'm not the biggest Predator fan. Like, I've seen a couple of these movies, maybe not all of them, but at least like a couple of them. But I never got into it as much as I did with Alien, with the Xenomorphs and Ellen Ripley and all of that. But yeah, it's like, this was, I would definitely say, the best of the franchise. I would agree with that, with other people saying that. It did everything right. And it felt like it was really taken in the right direction. I think Dan Trachtenberg did a great job directing it and writing it. I think all the actors and actresses did a fantastic job in their roles. And the fact that it is filled with positive and historically accurate representation of the Comanche tribe is really cool and important. So, yeah, what's there not to love? This was great. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Prey? Did you like it as much as I did? Did you not get into it as much? Or did you have some issues here and there? Which is completely fine. Everybody has their own views and opinions on things, so that's completely fine. But next week, we continue our 2022 Halloween special with Phil Tippett's Mad God, a stop-motion picture created by the guy who did the dinosaur puppetry and all on Jurassic Park. so you know it's going to be good. Like, this guy did effects work on Jurassic Park, and this is a passion project of his, Mad God. So I'm very excited for that. I don't know much else about the movie, but as always, we'll talk about that more when we get to that next week. In the meantime, like I said, let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.